Hello everyone, and welcome to Clarksville's Political Forum. I'm Van Stokes, your moderator for today's session, and on behalf of Leadership Clarksville and your Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce, we're glad you could be with us. This forum is coming to you from the facilities of the Mass Communications Department here on the campus of Austin Peay State University, and it's intended for you, those of you at home, the viewers and the voters, to have an informed choice when you go to the polls to vote. Today, we're going to have the opportunity to meet and greet the candidates who will be on the ballot for County Commission District Number 6. They are, to my left, Mr. Dalton Harrison and Mr. Arnold Hodges. Now, in a moment, both Mr. Harrison and Mr. Hodges will have 2 minutes in which to provide opening comments. Following their opening remarks, we will turn to our panelists for questions. Joining us once again for this session, on my right are our panelists, Mr. Jimmy Settle, Mr. Lee Irwin, and Mr. Jay Albertia. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to respond to each question from our panelists in a rotating order. Now, at the conclusion of the questioning, each candidate will have 2 minutes in which to provide a closing statement. Closing statements will be provided in reverse order from the opening statements. Our timekeeper for this session is Ms. Lacey Groves. County commissioners are voted into office for their 4-year terms and are elected by voters in their respective districts. The County Commission meets twice monthly to discuss and vote on a variety of resolutions, including county government policy, county budget, school system budget, and property tax rates. County commissioners also serve on various committees which are devoted to specific departments or specific subject areas, ranging from the county jail to animal control. Let's go to our candidates now for opening comments. If we can, we will hear first from Mr. Dalton Harrison.
Thank you, Van. First of all, I would like to thank the Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce and Leadership Clarksville for hosting this forum. I'm Dalton Harrison, and I've been the commissioner in District 6 for the past 7.5 years. Montgomery County faces many difficult and complex challenges as we grow. Massive growth, education, public safety, jobs and economic development, and seeing that our tax dollars are spent wisely. Going door to door in my community, these are the issues that are on the minds of the constituents in District 6. With my experience, I feel that I'm the most qualified candidate for this position. I have served on the Building Codes Committee, the School Liaison Committee, the E911 Board, Residential Development Commission. I've chaired the Jail and Juvenile Committee, as well as the Montgomery County Beer Board and the Ethics Committee. And I have served as Mayor Pro Tem. I've served as a PTA president for 2 years. I was on the Montgomery County Education Blue Ribbon Committee, and I've been very active in the Adopt a School program. And I am a 1993 graduate of Leadership Clarksville. My heart and my home is in my community, so I ask you for your continued support as Montgomery County Commissioner in District 6. Thank you.
Next, we will hear opening comments from Mr. Arnold Hodges.
Thank you. First of all, I want also to tell the Chamber how much I appreciate the invitation here today for this forum. I'm running for Commissioner of District 6 because, first of all, I'm a long life resident of this community. My family roots are very deep, back 5-6 generations. I have a lot of relatives out there. I know their needs, and I want to be a commissioner to fulfill those needs of those people. Education is a high priority, and safety. And it's a big issue as to where the money is going to come from. But I think that in the making of trying to work together and all this will work out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's turn to our panelists now. You will each have 1 minute in which to respond to the questions in a rotating order. Our first question will come from Mr. Jimmy Settle, and it will go to Mr. Dalton Harrison.
Thank you. Mr. Harrison, please take a moment again, if you will, to please pinpoint and describe those aspects of your professional and civic leadership that you feel uniquely qualify you for this seat, in your case to be reelected, of course.
Thank you. I had served on the county commission as a young man back in the mid-70s to mid-80s. We moved about 20 years ago across the river on Attaway Road. I was asked to run as a county commissioner there, which I did, and was fortunate enough and proud to be elected. I've served on various committees at the county level. I've also worked with city projects and state projects. We've worked together for the betterment of Montgomery County and Clarksville as a whole. Now, this experience, it avails me to problems that most people may not see sometimes. And being able to work through those problems has helped our county greatly. Thank you.
Mr. Hodges.
I have been an employee with the Tennessee Department of Agriculture, Division of Forestry, for some 35 years. I've worked directly with a lot of landowners in this county, whether it be through management plans for their timber, fire control, and I know these people. I've met a lot of them, and I'm related to most of them. If I haven't, I've worked with them in some sort of manner. And I feel like with all my experience with the State Department of Agriculture and knowing these people, I think I can better work with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lear, when you have the next question, it goes to Mr. Arnold Hodges.
Mr. Hodges, let's talk about the Clarksville-Montgomery County school system for a moment. Now, what would you offer as a way to help keep up with the continuing growth of the school system?
Well, just in this last month's meeting, I was at the commissioners' meeting, and of course they're in the process of now building a new Oakland school, and they're saying that this will be the last new elementary school that they're going to have to build. From this point on, I think they have arranged the schools where they can build on to them and not have to build new schools, which is going to cut down the cost, hopefully a lot. And so we're looking forward to seeing if this happens or not.
Mr. Harrison?
As Mr. Hodges said, this past month we did approve a resolution for Oakland Elementary School. The past 3 elementary schools that we've built have been built for 750 students, but they have the core capacity to be upgraded and added on to have a student population of 1,000. The cafeterias, the bathrooms, the administrative areas have been built for 1,000 students. One of the main things that we have to look at in our education system is staying ahead of the curve on technology. The old days of reading, writing, and arithmetic, those don't work anymore. You know, if you do that, you're going to have somebody that can read and write and do some arithmetic and ask, do you want fries with that? We've got to keep our technology above and ahead of most other places to assure that our students have a fair shot when they enter the job market. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. J. Albertia, you have the next question, and it goes to Mr. Dalton Harrison.
Mr. Harrison, both of you have just commented on the school system and what the issues are there, but what other major issues do you see that our county has, and how do you think you can address those?
Probably the biggest problem and concern that this county has is growth. We are one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Tennessee. We were ranked number 10 in the nation as the best place to retire. If we don't plan our growth, and that includes education, but also infrastructure, our roads, our transportation systems, our public safety system, if we don't plan for that growth, we will be behind the curve. So I think working with the state, working with Fort Campbell, and working with Austin Peay to assure that we have all those items on the board before that growth hits us. If we plan for the growth properly, it will work for us. Thank you.
Mr. Hodges.
Roads seems to be one of the biggest problems going on. I mean, we've got all the development and growth, but we don't have roads that will carry the traffic. And this is not just in the Sango area and in the Clarksville area, south of the river, which that's in the process of being worked on, and hopefully will eliminate some of those problems, and also out on 41. But I think that's one of the things we need to work on first before we build more houses, have roads adequate amount to take the traffic.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jimmy Settle, back to you. You have the next question, and it goes to Mr. Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. Hodges. We were talking county-wide there. Now let's narrow it down to the district a little bit that you propose to represent. What issues are specific, you feel, to your district that are in most dire need of being addressed, and how would you propose to address them?
Well, one of the biggest issues I think in District 6 now is probably trying to get the funding to build Rich Ellen Park, which it's I'd say probably over half finished. And I'm all for children having a place to go and with their families and enjoy playing ball and having a good time. But I think there was a little overspending there, and I think Commissioner Harrison will agree with me on it. He made a suggestion in the last meeting that this is the first new park that's been built from ground level up, and hopefully the next one won't cost as much.
Mr. Harrison.
With respect to Rich Ellen Park, quality of life issues are important to District 6 residents. And Rich Ellen Park is our first park that the county has built, and we're fortunate enough that it's being built south of the river. But other issues face our area. The roads, of course, a lot of those roads are state roads, and we're working with TDOT now to widen 4813 and portions of 149. Public safety is an issue. Right now we've got a new EMS station being built on Nursery Road. When we talk about public safety, a few years ago we had a rash of burglaries. We got with the Sheriff's Department and set up 4 different neighborhood watch programs, which reduced the burglaries, home burglaries in those areas by 86%. Those are issues that face our community and we must address. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lee Irwin, you have the next question, and it goes to Mr. Harrison.
Mr. Harrison, business and industry growth is very important. We've been talking a lot about growth. What role should the Montgomery County Commission play in development of the economic development for the area?
The county must work in partnership with the Economic Development Board in the state of Tennessee. We were very fortunate to bring Hankook Tire in here recently, which will add 1,500 to 1,800 new jobs. One thing we must look at is land. Right now our industrial park is pretty much full. If we were to have another company such as Hankook come in and want to locate here in Montgomery County, we don't have a place to put them. So we must look at expanding our industrial park, but we also must look at educating our children, not just in our school system in Montgomery County, but here at Austin Peay, where they are prepared for these high-tech jobs that are coming to Montgomery County, and they'll be able to fill them. Thank you.
Mr. Hodges.
I agree that is correct. We are running out of property out there. But I also think that the traffic problem needs to be taken care of, along with trying to buy property to build more factories. You've got Rossview Road's a 2-lane road, and I think last year there was something like 3 subdivisions fixing to go in out there, and they said they had adequate amount for traffic. I don't see that. I mean, when you go out there, it's terrible. And I think we need to work on that. It's just don't put the cart in front of the horse. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to Jay Albertia for the next question, and that question will go to Mr. Hodges.
Mr. Hodges, currently the county's in its budgetary department meetings to try to set up our next year's budget. Do you think the county departments are adequately funded? If you think one is not, which one do you think is not having the needs addressed?
You know, we have came out of one of a recession 3-4 years ago. Times are still tough, not only in everybody's household, but in departments of the county. We have to tighten our belt up and live within our means. I know it's not good. It's not good for the family to do it, but that's what everybody's got to do. And you just can't, every time you need some money, run to the taxpayers and say, "Here we go, up your taxes again." People are getting they're getting fed up with it, and I don't blame them. Everybody is not sitting there with a silver spoon in their mouth. There's a lot of people out there going through some tough times still.
Mr. Harrison?
The question was, were departments properly funded or adequately funded at Montgomery County? They're adequately funded. Could each department use more money? Absolutely. But that's where the fine balance is, to where you provide a top-notch service, but also respect the taxpayer of Montgomery County. Our school system could well use more technology right now, and you've got to balance that with the cost. The Sheriff's Department, it needs more road deputies, but again, you've got to balance that with the cost. At Montgomery County, we've always looked at providing a top-notch service at a minimal price, and we will continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you have just joined us, you are watching Clarksville's Political Forum. We are meeting with candidates for County Commission District number 6. They are to my left, Mr. Dalton Harrison and Mr. Arnold Hodges. Let's continue our round of questions from our panelists. Mr. Jimmy Settle, we go back to you. Your question goes to Mr. Dalton Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. I really would like to kind of follow up to the question that Jay asked a moment ago with respect to funding departments and with all of the county government departmental needs that have come before the Budget Committee just within the last 2 weeks. Is it realistic to expect that the county property tax rate can remain at the current $3.14 for the foreseeable future? Please explain your thoughts on that.
I honestly believe that the tax rate will remain at $3.14. Now, we do have a reassessment this year, which is mandated by the state, and it's done by the Montgomery County Tax Assessor, another elected official. As time passes and the value of a home goes up, the tax rate may be able, and I think it will, to stay at its current level of $3.14. Now, as I said, do some of the departments need more funding? Absolutely, absolutely, they could use it. But we must ration that out with the taxpayers' wants and needs, and we're looking to do that at the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hodges.
Do I think it's going to stay at 314? It's going to stay there this year. I was reading an article in the paper yesterday talking about needing more money, where it's going to come from. I know where it's going to come from. And yes, we have been reappraised, and the appraisal rates have went up. The rate's probably going to stay the same at 313, but next year, when they come up needing more money, what's going to happen is they're going to raise your taxes again, and it's going to be a lot worse than it was the last time because the reappraisal rates, your property's worth a lot more. And yes, I can see very clearly it's fixing to go up again.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lee Irwin, you have the next question. It goes to Mr. Hodges.
Mr. Hodges, let's talk about keeping in touch with your constituents. And of course, we have social media and many other ways to do that. But how do you propose to stay connected with the residents of District 6 to, say, increase their involvement in the planning for Montgomery County's future?
Well, of course, I be contacted by phone, and I already am getting a lot of phone calls, which I appreciate. I appreciate people calling me, and I have an email address, and I'm out in the public. I'll be out in the figure of the people. I'm not going to be a person that's going to hide behind a tree somewhere. I'll be out there for you.
Mr. Harrison?
Thank you. Most of my constituents in District 6 have my home phone number, my cell phone number, and my email. I retired a year and a half ago, and I'm able to stay visible and active in that community. Whether it be hosting a booth at the opening day ceremonies of the Little League ball games at Montgomery Central, or if it be at a community meeting in Palmyra, I have the ability and am there. If a neighbor, and that's what these people are my neighbors, when they have a problem, they do not hesitate, and they feel confident. If they give me a call, I'm going to be there either that day or the next day, and I'm going to work with them to solve that problem. And that's what neighbors do, and that's what county commissioners are supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have time for 2 more questions from our panelists. Let's go next to Mr. J. Albertia. Your question goes to Dalton Harrison.
Mr. Harrison, as it's been mentioned previously, we talked about that Clarksville has been deemed one of the best places to retire in. Do you think we are providing enough services for those individuals that are retiring in the community and those that will be coming into the community because of that designation?
Our retirees come from varied lives. We have a lot of military retirees here. One thing that we need to do is work with our Veterans Affairs Committee to update and keep that committee functioning very well for our retirees. But also we need to provide transportation. As retirees age and get older, we're going to have to provide transportation. We're going to have to provide medical services to them. Austin P is a great tool that we can re-educate retirees that may be looking to go into a second career. We've got this great facility here that we can educate them at. We have some work to do with our retirees, but we're well on our way to do it. Thank you.
Mr. Hodges.
Well, one of the reasons I think this is in the top 10 places is because we have a good place here for people. And that's why they come to us. And yes, as it grows, and we're going to have more facilities, and like he said, more transportation for them. All this stuff is going to go with any kind of growth. You've got to have more. But I think that is the key point. It's why they're coming here, is because it is a great place to live.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jimmy Settle, you have the last question from our panelist, and it will go to Mr. Arnold Hodges.
Thank you. And Mr. Hodges, this question sort of gets into the hypothetical realm, I suppose, but you know, in the past we've put the question of consolidated government before voters multiple times. Multiple times it's been voted down. Given that, are there some areas of county government where you see at least some departmental services could be consolidated for efficiency purposes?
Well, first of all, consolidation is, let me go back. District 6 is a very rural area. It is some growth going on out there, but nothing like the other districts. And people want to keep it that way. That's the way they like it. You've got people out there that's owned family farms, it's been there for generation after generation, and they want to keep it that way. And so they're just very much against consolidation, and I am myself also. Is there departments that need to be? We have in District 6 2 volunteer fire departments that I'm going to give them as good as we've got. And they do need some more help. I'll agree with that with anybody.
Mr. Harrison.
Departments in the county are pretty much running on a skeleton budget now sometimes. I don't know that we can combine them because of the different things that they do county-wide. As far as consolidation is concerned, I was asked in 2004, along with then County Commissioner Benny Skinner, to serve on a consolidation committee to see if it was worth bringing to the voters. That committee was made up of 18 people, and we met county-wide, from Woodlawn to Palmyra to Sango, in the city, out in the county. And we talked with the people. We studied charters from other areas that had consolidated. After all the time that we took on that, I voted against consolidation at that time, as well as did the entire committee. Clarksville, Montgomery County is not ready for it, and it has not been shown to where it would benefit the citizens in the county itself.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We have heard 10 questions from our panelists. You have each taken 1 minute to respond to each of the questions. They've ranged from school system issues, growth issues, economic development, the role of the county, budgets and funding, tax rates, staying connected, and you have truly fielded the questions in a nice way. We go now to our closing comments. They will come in reverse order from the opening comments, and we will hear first from Mr. Arnold Hodges.
Thank you. And again, I want to appreciate the opportunity to get to come here today. Like I said, I'm a long life resident of this community. I think a lot of it. I'm proud of my community. I'm proud of the people in it. From one end of it to the other. And I want everyone to know that I will serve you like you should be. I will not turn my back on you. If you need something, you can call me. I'll be there for you. I'm getting to the age where I'm probably fixing to retire from my job, and I'll be a full-time commissioner for you. That's about as best as I can say. I'll be there for you.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear closing comments from Mr. Dalton Harrison.
Again, I would like to thank the Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce and Leadership Clarksville for this opportunity. Over the past 7.5 years, I've listened to and worked hard for the families in District 6. Some of the things working together that we've accomplished in that area. We had a total renovation of the old Cumberland Heights Elementary School, now known as the John Bartee Center, where many county and state offices are at. We built a new fire station and equipped it with the help of Palmyra volunteers behind the Bartee Center. By doing that and other things, it's helped reduce our fire rating and homeowners insurance in Montgomery County for thousands. We did a $20 million renovation, a well-needed renovation at Montgomery Central High School. We've got a new EMS station under construction on Ursery Road. A few years ago, I fought hard against 2 proposed barge points in the Palmyra area, and we got those defeated. Instead of 2 barge points, today we have Rich Ellen Park under construction in that same area. I've helped residents with many of their personal problems, such as roads, zoning, codes issues, traffic signs, and many others. When I was elected in 2006, our county tax rate was $3.24. We were able to reduce that in 2007 to the current $3.14, where it has remained steady for 6 of the 8 past years. Those other 2 years, we were able to reduce it to $2.88 and also pass a tax freeze for senior citizens. Now, in this upcoming election, if you want a yes man who votes yes on every issue and overburdens the taxpayers, I'm probably not your man. If you want a no man who votes no on every issue and cripples this county's future, I'm probably not your man. But if you want a person who will responsibly address each and every issue to assure that your tax dollars are being spent wisely, I humbly ask for your vote and support as County Commissioner in District 6. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank each of you, Mr. Dalton Harrison, Mr. Arnold Hodges, for being with us today and for taking the time to share your thoughts and your ideas on the questions posed by our panelists. But more than that, I want to say thank you very much for your willingness to serve the citizens of this community if elected to this position. I want to say thank you also to our panelists. Gentlemen, once again, thank you very much. Great questions, the prominent issues put out on the table today for each of our candidates to address. To those of you who are watching at home, don't forget, August the 7th is voting day for state primary and county general elections. That's August the 7th. Early voting starts on July the 18th and goes through August the 2nd. Now, the Montgomery County Election Commission is located at Montgomery Veterans Plaza. That's at 350 Pageant Lane. They are generally open Monday through Friday during the early voting period from 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening, and then on Saturdays from 9 until noon. So plenty of opportunities to early vote if that is your choice, and if not, we hope that you will show up at the polls on August the 7th to cast your vote for the candidate of your choice. Once again, many thanks to the Mass Communications Department here at Austin Peay State University for broadcasting this event. And thanks also to your Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce and to Leadership Clarksville for making this forum possible. Until next time, I'm Van Stokes saying thank you for watching.